Who's going to win on this episode of Yarn versus Yarn? Is it going to be Premier Anti-Peeling Worsted Medium Weight number 4? Are we guys going to be Walmart's Mainstay Anti-Peeling Medium Weight Worsted number 4? Well, only time will tell. And please, let me know in the comments if there's any yarns you'd like me to do on Yarn versus Yarn. Let's do this. Hello everybody! So what is it today? Is it going to be Premier Anti-Peeling Worsted Everyday Acrylic? Or is it going to be Walmart's Mainstay Anti-Peeling Yarn? Who will be the winner on Yarn versus Yarn? Remember, as always, this is I only run these tests as to inform, people of the differences that I noticed. It has nothing to do with the yarn company. I do not care whether you buy the yarn. I'm not trying to get you to buy the yarn. I don't care either way which one you like. I'm only just running tests because it's fun. So, first up, we will start with the specs of each yarn before we go over the wash and dry test. Okay, so we do Walmart's Mainstay. You can find it in a lot of Walmarts and online at walmart.com. It's an anti-peeling acrylic. It has 246 yards or 220 meters, and it is 5 ounces. It's classified as a medium weight number 4. Recommending hook size is a 6.5 millimeter. It is 100% acrylic, and it says now that you can wash and do not tumble dry. I will tell you right off the bat that I did tumble dry this because Premier says that you can tumble dry. So even though it says you cannot, I did it. We'll see the results in a little bit. All right. So this is 200. This is a medium weight number 4. It's 240 yards for at my Walmart, $2.98. And I think that's what it is online, maybe $2.98 for 240 yards. And it is made in Turkey. All right. It feels fine. To me, it is a scarfable yarn. It is a garment worthy yarn. And I would wear a scarf made out of it. The only downfall for me when it comes to Mainstay is a limited number of colors that it comes in. I think the Mainstay anti-peeling acrylic, I believe, only comes in maybe 6 or 7 colors at tops, probably. Now we'll go ahead and compare it to the Premier Anti-Peeling Everyday Worsted. Their anti-peeling motto is like a new, wash after wash. Now it does fall short on the yardage compared to the Mainstay. 180 yards or 165 meters to Mainstay's 240 yards. So we're looking at 60 more yards in the Mainstay yarn versus the Premier anti-peeling acrylic. Price-wise as well, it is more money. If I'm going to Premier.com, it is $4.99 on a regular price. Now I know that you can get it on sale. I'm just going off a regular price. So you're getting 60 less yardage for $1 more. Okay. Again, the Premier anti-peeling, it feels very fine. It's a very scarfable yarn. Scarfable, as I always mention, I would wear it against my skin. It feels fine and soft. It's 100% acrylic. Medium weight number 4. Recommended hook size is a 5.5 millimeter. And it says that you can wash it and dry it. All right. And this yarn is made in Turkey as well. Okay. So I will say now the color palette for the everyday worsted, the 4-way anti-pilling, is vast. There's over 60 colors that you can choose from compared to Walmart's, I don't know, 6, 7, and I would be pushing it at the max. I also want to mention that these are 2 different colors of gray. They are not meant to be the same color. So just so you know, they are different colors. I couldn't get them exact, but they're both colored in named charcoal. But yes, they're not the same colors. Okay, so we went over the specs, and we can tell that the Premier is more money for less yardage. Is it worth it though? So right here on the side we have Walmart's Mainstay, and over here we have Premier's anti-pilling, a 4-way up against each other. It does appear that Walmart's might be a tad thicker, and I would agree with that when I worked with it. Not much though that I don't think that it's going to be bothersome. Now remember, both these yarns are labeled themselves as an anti-pilling yarn. Alright, so that's them on my hand. Walmart Mainstay versus Premier. Another downfall that Walmart Mainstay has is that you can only get it at Walmart. Premier you can find pretty much anywhere. Probably not at, well, you can't find it at my Walmart, maybe some Walmarts, but online you can pretty much find it at a lot of yarn stores. But you know, that given that, that's just trying to tell you downfalls of them. So there's that. So I made a swatch of them, two swatches, measured them. One I washed and dried, the other one I did not. So these are the swatches. They were exactly made the same. They were both made with the same size hook. Now, even though this says not to put in, the Mainstay says do not put it in the dryer, I did. All right, remember that when I show you the end results of the wash and dry test. Now, as far as crocheting with them, they both crochet just fine. This is the Walmart's brand. Excuse the tails. I kept them at different lengths on both pieces, the ones I washed and dried and the ones I didn't, so I could tell which yarns were which and which ones were washed and which ones were not. Anyway, so just excuse those. So remember, these are 2 different color yarns, but this is what they look like after they have been crocheted up. They both have the same amount of rows. And everything about them is was done the same, and these are fresh off the hook, not washed, not dried. Okay, both of them crochet just fine. I cannot say that one crocheted better than the other, because it didn't. They both crocheted the same. For me, my opinions, for me, they both crocheted the same. As far as putting them together, and we look. Remember, these were measured before and after the dryer test. They are pretty close to being the same size. You can see that I'm going to give it that they're the same size. Yeah, they're the same size, right? This is the swatch test. The one from behind is Mainstay. The one in the front is the Premier. Now, these have not been washed nor dried. But yes, they are the exact same size. No trouble with, like I said, crocheting. No trouble with any part of it. So as for the crochet test, they both feel fine, soft. I would make garments out of both of them and wear them. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Now, as far as the test before I wash and dry them, as we talk about how they crocheted, they both crocheted exactly the same. They're tied in the fact of the way that they crocheted. Now remember, this is just my opinions. To me, there was no difference in the way they crocheted. They were just fine. And then I did tell you the differences of them, as far as Premier has 60 less yards for $1 more. But Premier has over 60 collars versus the 6 or 7 that Walmart has. Walmart can only be found in Walmart's Premier you can find online pretty much anywhere. Those are some things you can take away. Other than that, they're pretty much the same, you know, both made the same place, everything like that. And once again, remember, other than this one says that you can wash it but do not dry it, and this one says that you can wash it and dry it. I did wash them both and I did dry them both. Do you guys want to take a look at them? All right, so I gave you the differences of all that. Price, yardage, gave you the gist. I told you what I thought about the way they crocheted. Crochet wise, they're equal. Price wise and yardage wise, they are not. It's a better deal to buy the Walmart Mainstay. For me, it's easier access because my Walmart's 10 minutes away. But that's not true for everybody. But then again, Premier is easy if I order it, and it has a lot more colors. But it is more money for less yardage, unless you get it on sale. Alright, so let's look at the wash and dry test, because after all, I think in the end, that is the true factor. Let's look at it. Alright, so let's check out the Premier again. So the swatch on top has been washed and dried as per their instructions. The swatch on the bottom is brand spanking new, the exact same size as the other one before it went in the wash. And again, we are having the same problem with the Premier anti-peeling worsted as we did with the Premier anti-peeling DK. It shrunk again after the wash and dry process. You can see that it did. These are laying on top of each other. They are exact. Remember, the one on bottom is fresh, not washed or dried. And this one on top is a bit smaller, which has been washed and dried as per instructions. Not only did it shrink, something that I did take notice too, is that it faded in color. So, I will say that I am right here looking at it closely, and people's devices are different and they see things differently depending on what device you're looking at. And a lot of people will tell me that it looks exactly the same. But just trust me in knowing that I am standing here looking at it, staring at it. And even if your device is appearing that it looks the same, it is not. The one that has been washed and dried has faded in color. Not to the extent that it would probably matter to me, but it is to an extent that I didn't notice it right off. It's a lighter gray than what it once was. But like I said, for me, it's not enough that I would care about it, you know, but it is enough that I noticed it. Coming out of the washer, it is softer than when it went in. I left the tails on so I knew which one, so I could distinguish between the two varieties that I have here. These are both Premier, remember. One had exactly made the same. They were the exact same size after I finished. Yes, I did measure them. Plus, my attention on my crochet. It's pretty good. So, they both feel good going in. I will say it is a bit softer coming out than it was going in. But I didn't have a problem with the way it felt going in either. The Premier anti-peeling always feels nice. Now, so this is it. Crisp, clean, right off the hooks. Not a fuzzy in sight. Can be seen. Here it is again, the Premier. Anti-peeling, everyday worsted. After a wash and dry, it came out pretty good. A little bit of fuzzing up, but it seemed to have fared better than the last time I used the DK version of it. It really fuzzed up more than what this one did. But I don't think it fuzzed up for being an anti-peeling. I don't think that it fuzzed up like a lot. I mean, it's just normal. So, as far as the wash and dry test for the Premier anti-peeling, my final thoughts, remember they're always just opinion based, is it did shrink a bit, like it did whenever I did it with the TK version. And it did fade a bit. Not enough that I care, but enough that I noticed. It is very soft now, and it did fuzz up, like as you can see, minuscule, you know. Not enough for me. Not enough to say that, hey, this isn't a good anti-peeling yarn. It is. I mean, it got washed, it dried, it came out of the dryer, and the wash and dry, nice. I don't have a problem with it. Other than the bit of shrinkage and a little bit of fadage, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Do you guys want to look at the Walmart version, Mainstay? All right, let's check that one out. All right, so why don't we take a look at the Walmart Mainstay anti-peeling acrylic after the wash and dry test. So I have them setting right on top of each other. The one on top has been washed and dried as per instructions, and the one on bottom has not. So laying them exactly, they were measured prior to being washed, and they measured the same, as did the Premier. Now laying them on top of each other exactly, you can see that there is no shrinkage. Excuse me. When it comes to the Mainstay, it is the same size coming out as going in. Unlike the Premier, had a bit of shrinkage. All right. And then let's check out a color fade. Let's see if that happened. One on top is washed. One underneath is off the hooks fresh. Sorry for my tails. I did leave some and cut some in a specific manner so I would know which was which. Now, again, I'm going to say that I'm looking at them straight up right off the bat, and I'm looking for fading. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that the Mainstay did not fade one bit. It looks exactly the same color. Here's the fresh one. Here is the washed one. It looks exactly the same color coming out as it is coming in. And remember, I know devices change the look and appearance of things, but you must remember I am looking exactly at it, and I only ask you to please trust me in saying that I'm looking at it and there is no fade. Now I will say, if there's any fade at all, it is so minuscule that I would have to sit there and stare at it to barely notice a tiny bit of fade in the washed one. Like I said, so little that it's almost non-existent. I would call it a no fade on the Walmart's brand. So no shrinkage and no fade. All right. So let's look at it before. It feels fine. This is fresh off the hooks. Crocheting with it, it was soft when I crocheted with it before. And it's even softer coming out of the washer and dryer. It was soft when I crocheted with it before. Not quite as soft as the fresh Premier, but still a soft anti-peeling acrylic. I would wear both of them fresh off my, hooks. I would wear a scarf with them. They wouldn't need to be washed for me to wear them, but they did get softer after wash. They were soft before. So this one is the washed Mainstay. Let's take a look at the anti-peeling aspects of this. As you can see, very, very minimal fuzz. I would say they both had a very minimal fuzz and on them, which is what you want from an anti-peeling. Especially after the first wash, you really don't want hardly any at all. Let's compare the fuzz factor. All right, now let's compare them. Now the anti-peeling Premier is a different color of gray than the Walmart's brand. Now let's compare them, how they look after they both, we seen them how they both looked after they came out of the washer and dryer. But let's hold them together and look at them and see which one looks a little better. So I got the Premier up here, up close to the camera. Now you can see that there is some fuzz. It's not a lot. I did say I thought that it fared pretty well for the first wash of an anti-pilling acrylic. And then we look at the Mainstay, and I think that it fared very well as too. Now, if I had to give one of them a better rating than the other, as far as my thoughts on the, fuzziness after a wash and dry, I'm going to give it to Walmart's Mainstay, looking fresher and not as fuzzy as the Premier. But it still has a bit, but it doesn't have quite as much as the Premier. But again, the Premier has not a lot either. But like I said, I have to give it to one of them. And I would give it to the one that fared better after the wash and dry test, versus it did not shrink, it did not fade, and the fuzzy aspect after the wash and dry is almost non-existent. It goes to Walmart's Mainstay, and it softened up quite a bit after a wash, but then again, it was not soft. Premier, again, it shrunk a bit, it faded a bit. The fuzzy factor is not a lot, but it's more than what Walmart's Mainstay was. So I'm going to give the wash and dry test for all aspects to Walmart's Mainstay anti-pilling acrylic. Now remember, I like both of these yarns. I'm not dogging either one of them. I only perform these tests to help people make a better informed decision. You don't need me to do that, so that's fine. You don't have to watch the videos, but I like to do it for those who enjoy these type of tests, and I enjoy doing them. Just know that I'm not dogging any yarn. I like both of these yarns, and I use both of these yarns. So there is one that I prefer over the other, but I still like them both. So as far as I'll say there's one I prefer over the other, which I already knew it. I didn't have to do any testing to tell you that. I prefer Walmart's Mainstay over Premier's anti-peeling acrylic. One thing, though, that I don't like about Walmart's Mainstay is its limited color selection, is its, to me, only downfall. Other than that, it's cheaper, more yardage, it does not shrink after the wash, it does not fade after the wash, and there is so minimal fuzziness after the wash that it's almost non-existent. In comparison, after the wash of the Premier, it shrunk, it faded a bit, and there was, like I said, not a lot of fuzziness, but enough that I noticed there was more fuzziness than there was on the Mainstay. So the wash and dry test goes to Walmart Mainstay. All right. So that is it. Now you can take everything that I told you into consideration and make your own informed decisions. I'm not here to make any decisions for you. Like I said, I'm just testing the stuff out. I'm not affiliated with Premier. I'm not affiliated with Walmart Mainstay. I have no affiliated links. I have no personal gain whether you buy one versus the other. I really do not care which one you buy. I'm only just, testing the waters for you so you can know. So I hope that you enjoyed. Remember, I like them both. I just know there are some die-hard Premier fans, and I've done reviews on their yarn before and got hardcore, just ran out of the the comments were just run over with I was the worst person in the world because there was a Premier yarn I didn't like. Just know that there are Premier yarns that I don't like, and there are yarns in every company that I don't like. All right, it's not just Premier, but I like Premier's anti-peeling yarns. I think they're very nice. But in this instance, I do believe that Walmart did beat them for all the reasons that I stated. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on my next one, okay? Bye, guys.